Was this much of a surprise move?
Well, it is a surprise move, Heidi, given that back in June we had the central bank saying there's no risk of overheating in Singapore's property sector. Yet 6 months on, here we are talking about a new set of cooling measures. The government says that it is needed because prices could run ahead of fundamentals. If they don't nip it in the bud, there is a risk perhaps that a correction will not be able to take place without destabilizing the property sector as well as the economy. So here we are, a new set of cooling measures, and it impacts everybody from citizens to permanent residents to foreigners, and it takes effect immediately as of today. Now, as of today, the stamp duties for second homes for Singapore citizens will be raised by about 5%. If you want to own a third property or more, that'll be raised by 10%. In terms of permanent residents as well as foreigners, the stamp duty will be raised by a further 10%. So it is tough, it is much higher, and that is to prevent speculative trading in the property sector. You can understand why, given the trends in the property sector. As you may already know, buyers have been capitalizing on low rates, and that has not hampered, despite restrictions during the COVID pandemic. That has been, demand has been increasing, and that is justifying the need for further property measures.
This has really become a widely felt issue around the world, right? But especially so, it seems, in Singapore, given that housing has become an election issue.
Well, you're right. It is a hot-button issue, an emotional issue, and you're right as well. It's not just in Singapore, but in other places like China, South Korea, Hong Kong, especially when it comes to millennials who want to own their own property and they want the right to have the equal right to own it. If you take a look at the home prices in Singapore, from the first half of this year alone, we've seen private property prices going up by about 9%. For public housing, that's up 15%, making it really difficult for the young people to own their own property, hence the cooling measures that we're seeing right now. And if you take a look at the transactions that we've seen in the first 6 months of the year, we're looking at $24 billion in Singapore. That's double what we're seeing in Manhattan. So demand has been robust, and if property prices remain to be on the upside, the young people will find it really difficult. And given what we've seen back in 2011 elections, that could impact the popularity of the ruling party.